Well, hello everyone, it's Rick Passek, the FlyFish Fanatic, and welcome to my tying bench. Today we will be tying another Chironomid pattern. This one's been one of the better producers this spring, on and off. Some days it's just been lights out, some days it's been terrible. But it's one I definitely would recommend having in your box. Like I said, there's been days where I've had 50 and 60 fish days on this exact pattern. So I'll just explain as I go. Right now this is I can't even remember what size it is, but it's whatever size fits for a 14. I think it's 64, so I can't remember. But it's a tungsten copper. This is black nano silk. I'm just going to do a really thin little layer here, and I'm pulling really tight because I want to put a set of gills on, and I need to make sure that the copper goes over top. Right now, it says this is a size 14 of the Aqua Talon hooks. These are the new Aqua Talon hooks from Chironomid hooks. I personally find them oversized. So the 14 is actually a 12 in my opinion. So I'm going to take a little bit of poly yarn here, and I've doubled it over because I want a fairly predominant white set of gills on this. So I'm going to make sure that I'm pulling pretty tight because I want it to be able to go. I'm going to undo that because I want that that bead to be able to go over it pretty easily, right? So not cooperating. Never have this kind of problem, but that's okay. It's video, what do you expect? Just make sure that stays up on top. So, okay. Cut that off up on an angle. Usually give it a bit of a twist. I'll cut that on an angle. And I'll wet finish right here. And then what I'll also often do is, like I said, I'll wet finish here. Cut this off. Get rid of that little bit there. And then before I do anything, just put the slightest little dab of Sally Hansen's head cement, whatever you've got, just on that. Just so that poly yarn doesn't twist on you. Push that forward. I'll give that a good pull, and I'll just cut that off, right? Just past those eyes, the eye of the hook. Okay, so restart my thread. Already got a bit of a head forming there right behind it. So make sure I want to taper this. I'm only going to go 2 there and back out again, all the way down. So now it's your fairly typical chironomid from this point. Just making sure that you build it with nice smooth transitions first of all, and it's just it's the materials right from this point on. So now a lot of times we'll put ABS on this or the window tint, window film. This is just going to be using some mirror tinsel as the main part of the body. Right now, this is some 0.2 mil red wire. Sorry, 0.1 mil red wire that I'm putting on. I like trying to keep it on my side. I'm having a problem. I know why. Because I forgot to counterclockwise spin my thread. If you don't counterclockwise spin it, it wants to always go away from it, not onto it. Okay, so there we go. So I'm all the way back down and back up to roughly where that bulge it was from the last time. Now I'm going to use some 0.1 mil again, or small, whatever, because 0.1 mil is some companies use that, others use small. This is a small from UTC, black. I'm just going to again just let it kind of take it over to that side, to your side. Oh, I just love it when you're doing videos and things just don't go right. I just tied a whole bunch of these up for my personal box. I'm just going to leave it up on the top. I just tied a bunch of these up for my personal box, and yeah, I didn't have a problem. Of course, as soon as I get on video, that's normal for me, at least. Okay, so now I've gone all the way back. Now I'm going to come all the way back forward. This time I'm going to counterclockwise spin my thread, flatten that out, get that nice and flat, lots of coverage. And I'm going to come right again up to that bulge that I created, roughly, and take some of that mirror tinsel that I have. And this is in 132, the size. And then I'm just going to come all the way back to where I stopped with those wires. And again, counterclockwise spin. Get this nice flat thread. Because then what I want to do is I want to just, if I can, one motion forward. Counterclockwise spin. I don't want to have to come back all the way to the end again, because I don't want to build up any more body back there. Next what time I'm going to come right behind the eye, the bead, and go out and then back again. So that was about a quarter of the way. I'm going to go about half of the way, maybe a bit more. Build up this front thorax section here, just the taper. Again, counterclockwise spin. Flatten that thread. Just going to come over, just make sure it's a nice, fairly decent transition. Then I'm going to stop right there. Okay, now it's just going to wrap this forward, leaving a bit of a gap. Leaving a bit of a gap each time. Doesn't have to be a huge gap, but you definitely want a gap. Okay, I'm not worried about the front because I'm going to kind of cover that up anyway. That just slid on me, so like I said, it doesn't have to be a huge gap, but you definitely want to see that black through it, or red or green or whatever you're using. I tied the same one in several different color schemes. Underbody color, everything else is the same. Sometimes I'll use silver and red. Sometimes I'll use silver and black. Sometimes I'll do red and black. So it just depends on the look that I'm going for. But like I said, this one has been the one that's been by far the best. So now I'll take my magnifying glass and bring it forward just because I'm blind. And then I'm just going to follow that rib that I just did. Just follow the back end of that rib. Just follow the back end. Just to give it a nice segmented look. And then up to the front. Again, doesn't matter. The front end doesn't really matter right at this moment. So that, bring my magnifier back. Now I'm going to follow that one with the red. Now this red, the 0.1 mil, is like an extra small. If I had the 1 mil or the small, I probably would have used that, but the extra small works too. It's just a hint. You just want that hint of red in there. Okay, so now I'll helicopter that off. Then I'm not, again, worried about the front here at the moment. I'm just going to give it a 2, 3, 4 turn whip finish. Cut that off. Now I'm going to go in and make a set of wing buds. So now there's several different colors I can go with, which I've been doing. And that's, I'll just show you guys between the 3 colors. Oops, yep, there we go. So it's kind of a wood duck, a rust, and a yellow, right? Those are the 3. I'm going to go with the wood duck for this one. And this is just going to create a hint of a wing bud. So all this does, right? Instead of having to tie in goose biots or buzzer wrap of this color, I've been finding that this does just as good of a job. Now, that being said, goose biots and stuff kind of look cool. Tied it at this point. Like if this was a buzzer, a non-weighted chironomid, a buzzer, absolutely I would be putting biots or buzzer flex in. But for this, I don't think I need to. So I've never had to. It's just been one of those producers. So and then take my Sallies and just give this a quick little coat. And this has worked really well with this copper bead, a black bead, and if you don't want to use the gills, just go with a white bead. So that'll dry, and it'll look a little bit more segmented once it dries, because it is Sally Hansen's, and it'll fall in, right? It's not going to create that really smooth body that the resins do, but that's what I want. I just want it to be protected, so just giving it a turn to. So because I used a black underbody, it gives this more of a coppery kind of blacky coppery look. The Mirage flash or mirror flash, sorry. If that was a green underbody, it would be a bit more green, and so on and so on, right? So it takes on a little bit of the underbody color. So, alrighty. Hope you guys enjoyed that one. This is big at 14. Like I said, this is more like a 12. I usually tie these in in the Eagle Talon, the 16. That's my favorite. And in the 14. The 12 from Eagle Talon I find is way too big for these. Unless you've got a lake that you know of that's got a big bomber run like Tonquah. Alrighty. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, give her a thumbs up. If you subscribed, thank you. If you haven't, please consider doing so. I'll see you guys in the next tying video. Tie lines, everybody.